right, good evening. Welcome to the November 12th edition of the Community Development Advisory Committee. Roll call, we have Member Richards, who's running a little bit late. Councillor Wilsey, who will be absent this evening. Since our last meeting, we also had Member Marshman present a resignation to the director and myself. So she will not continue on as a member of the CDAC committee. And correct me if I'm wrong, Director, we are not going to fill that position moving forward, correct?
It wasn't my intentions to fill. We only have about a year left in this term, so bringing someone on new, it's going to take a bit of time to get caught up. So I would suggest we wait till the next term.
Everybody okay with that? Okay. Approval of agenda. I want to recommend an adjustment to the agenda if it's okay with the committee. I'd like to push 6.2, 2026 community events applications down a couple of pegs till after 6.4, Medal of Distinction, just based on the amount of time that'll be, that 6.3 and 6.4 will take will be, I would assume, quite substantially less than 6.2. Are we okay with that? So we'll need an approval of the agenda with that revision in place. Councillor Pelkman, any seconder? Jagger, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Any declaration of pecuniary interest this evening? Okay, seeing none. Approval of the minutes. Recommendation that the Community Development Advisory Committee meeting from September the 9th, 2025 be approved as written. You mover and a seconder for that. Jagger, seconded by Councillor Pelkman. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Reports of committees and departments. The recommendation, we'll need a mover and a seconder that the reports from committees and departments be received for information. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Palmer and a seconder, Sherry. Thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 5.1 PTP. I'll turn over to the director.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to bring to the committee's attention that we've had a number of requests come in late in the year. We won't be addressing these till the new year. Simply timing doesn't permit, but we have one organization that has come forward and is inquiring about the PTP project with lighting multiple recreation amenities such as skate parks, pickleball courts, and that kind of stuff. So we're in conversations with them at the moment, just letting them know costs and so on to see if they're looking at doing a multitude or if they're trying to hone in on one amenity. The other two on the list is one is for cross ice pads. That will divide the hockey rink into 2 sheets of ice or into 3 sheets of ice, depending on how many pads they buy. And then the other one is sports nets, so lacrosse nets for minor lacrosse. So we're looking at these, evaluating some. Depending on the value of some of this stuff, we may be able to absorb into our operating budget. Because we do have funds for dedicated to programming costs and so on. So stay tuned for that. We also received an email late last week about the Holy Cross Catholic School is looking to partner with the museum and PTP to develop a, what do they call it here? The goal is to animate the history of our town and display it in a fun and creative and interactive manner. So they want to display history on the walls in the museum. So is basically the short of this very long worded email. So their contribution would be all of the wages that would be associated from the teachers and the students that would be involved. So we'll put this together in more of a package for the committee the next time we meet for you to review and make recommendations to council.
Everyone good? Steve?
I just have interest question for Rob.
Can you turn your mic on?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
What would it cost to operate a light, Rob?
A light?
Well, those big lights, like, are they, 250, 500, 1,000 watts? What are they? Like, when you go put them up, cost-wise, is it a substantial cost, or is it a little cost, or?
Very minimal cost. They're all LED now.
Right.
So you're pennies an hour, essentially. They're not expensive.
So really, to operate
expensive to operate at all.
So operating them isn't the cost at all?
The older style
Yeah, the
lights, the
metal
metal
halides,
halides
yeah.
and stuff, they were much more costly, but the LED is a lot less costly than the old style fixtures.
So it's just the input cost,
Yep,
basically?
essentially, yes.
Okay. We'll move to new business, 6.1 ad hoc market advisory committee. I assume going to Kate here, or your director?
It'll start with me, and Kate will hop in when necessary. So back a month and a half ago, council gave staff direction to continue operating the market with the use of an advisory committee. CDAC has the authority to appoint ad hoc committees, and this is what staff are suggesting that we use as the advisory committee for the farmers market. The ad hoc committee does not require council's approval. They do not need to appoint members. It allows us, the staff, to go out and search for community members, whether they're vendors of the market or our agricultural members, BIA members, and so on. We don't need to form a striking committee to do so, because in the terms of reference for CDAC, it is spelled out in the terms of reference that CDAC has the authority to appoint ad hoc committees as necessary. So we've pulled together a quick terms of reference. This is just the first draft. I've already seen a couple errors in it, just reviewing it over the last couple days. So.
Councillor Peltman.
Just a process question then. If, let's say the ad hoc committee came up with a recommendation to say that the first 4 produce vendors that sign up don't have to pay for their booth, that would end up being a budget issue, which would have to be passed by council, correct?
Anything financial would be required to be approved by council. That's correct.
Okay, continue on, Director, or Kate, I don't know who's going here.
If the committee has read the terms of reference, it again is very, does not allow the committee to commit staff to anything. They're purely an advisory group. They're not to be involved necessarily in the daily operations. They may be involved on weekends to help operate the market. We won't be giving directions to staff. They don't have authority over budget. All of that, again, is either staff or council. They are responsible for working with and raising public awareness of the market. They're there to represent the perspectives of their stakeholders, whether it's the BIA, agriculture, craft vendors, and so on. And then they're gonna be there to help implement the market initiatives. So again, an advisory role, not an operational role.
I do have a question about, under the composition section, a question and a comment. The comment's easy. Under, beside vice chair, maybe we should have members instead of member. Just a small little note there. A question mark beside councillors and deputy mayor, question mark indicating we don't know if there should be representation from that element, or what's the question mark?
Yes, that would be the reason the question mark is there is, is it a member from this committee who wants to sit on there from a councillor's perspective, who wants to be involved, or does council want to be arm's length from this? So we've left it open because we're not sure, but to bounce around in this room would be a good start.
Member Richards, just to get you up to date, we're at 6.1 on the agenda, sir. Any questions, comments? Councillor Pammer.
Yeah, just the, I'm not sure what the intent is under goals and objectives. It seems like there's a lot of upon requests in the document. So provide comments upon request. So who's gonna request, and what if they never request? And then, you know, convene as requested, may recommend to staff. So it just feels like there's a lot of, it doesn't feel like, you know, it's gonna meet regularly for feedback. It feels like it's, the wording is a lot of as requested. And what if you don't request it? I feel like it's kind of ambiguous in there.
Response? Okay. As requested, so a lot of that is what was, if this committee has a question, right? So you're requesting information from the advisory committee. So I would suggest that if there was a question around the attendance of the market, or if there was a request of the committee to research, you know, how to obtain or attract a greater number of agricultural vendors, that sort of stuff. In the document, as I did say, this is a draft, so I made note of that. But if you flip over to item 8, where it says meeting schedule, it says the number of meetings shall be sufficient to address the mandate of the committee. We're not sure exactly how often at this point that it would meet. I'm going to suggest that we're going to be meeting at least once a month with the work up to the market, and then we'll probably be meeting more often as we get closer to the opening day of the market. So we're still working through some of those, I guess, logistics, if you want to put it that way.
Kate.
I do also want to mention that CDAC, this committee has requested that there be a market update at every meeting, so that has already been requested.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Jagger.
I'm wondering about the same consideration should be given with respect to our missing member, seeing as that our term ends. Would we be potentially handcuffing a future group by sort of striking the committee at this time? Or is it more so that we'd rather get it going for this summer, the summer coming, 2026, and then sort of, because I guess in theory, the committee could be dissolved upon the election of a new council.
So through the chair to Jagger, the reason we've suggested an ad hoc committee is because it's the quickest way we can get a committee up and running, right? Aside from going through council, them having to strike a committee, we advertise for positions. By the time that takes place, it'll be March before we even get a committee in place. The intention of the committee was to be up and going for the 2026 market. So yes, when this term of council ends, the ad hoc committee would also be dissolved, but no different than any other committee of council would also be dissolved.
Councillor Putman.
So I see March as being problematic. It's probably too late to have a lot of effect on the vendor attendance. Just wondering if there's potential, if people are willing to step up to the plate a little earlier, to throw some ideas around to see if some work can be done to try and attract vendors before a committee is formally formed or partially formed. Is that a possibility?
Through the chair to Councillor Pogman, That's exactly why we're looking at going through the ad hoc approach, because we would expect that we could have a committee up and running probably middle of January to late January. If we were to go the route of having council form the striking committee, and then advertise for positions, we've had people already reaching out to us who have an interest. We've got some ideas who we also want to reach out to as well.
So you're saying the council committee way would be March, but an ad hoc could be much faster? Okay,
Correct.
gotcha, okay.
Correct.
Anyone else?
Kate,
Oh, Kate, sorry.
Just for reference, we have a survey out right now, the vision for 2026 for the downtown Strathroy Market that closes on November 30th. And one of the questions is, would you be interested in joining a market advisory committee? And we've had 15 people say they would be interested in that.
Anyone else? Next steps, Director, I guess?
So we're looking for a motion from this committee to direct staff to form the ad hoc committee as allowed in the CDAC terms of reference.
Councillor Pelk, would you like to move that
Yes, I would, please.
as worded?
Yep.
Need a seconder? Jagger. Any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. As earlier, as we revise the order of the agenda, we'll move to 6.3, project updates, and we'll turn it over to Darren.
Thank you, Chair. Just a few ongoing projects that were mentioned at the last CDAC meeting. West Middlesex Arena, front streetscape project is coming along well. Was kind of hampered this past weekend with a little bit of snow, so minor setback there, but we should see some pretty good progress in the next week or so with concrete being poured and asphalt going in. Mount Bridges, Woods Edge Park, not sure if anybody's been out for a drive through Woods Edge. New park going in, it's going well, excavation's been completed. They're just moving into concrete, and over the next 2 or 3 weeks we should start to see some equipment being installed there. So really nice addition to that piece of the community over in Mount Bridges. West Middlesex again, ERV replacement, it's in progress. New unit's been delivered and just waiting connections. So that's we're getting through our projects this year, which is nice. So that's it for updates.
Any questions? Oh, sorry, Director.
If I can just add to the West Middlesex streetscape, we're not just putting out nice soft plants. The purpose of that whole project was the one corner where the refrigeration plant is housed. We had some undermining of the footing, and the corner of the building was sinking. So we had to redirect the rainwater. So we've tied the rainwater leaders into the storm sewer on Metcalfe Street. We have drilled pilings underneath the foundation to support the sinking corner of that building. So there's a lot more to it than just a streetscape.
Any questions or comments for Darren? Okay. Were you going to say something, Councillor Pelk?
Yeah, I was just, are you mentioning tomorrow night at all, or are you mentioning tomorrow night?
I can do that too, yeah. So tomorrow night, thank you, Councillor Pelkman. We have an open house tomorrow night at the Gemini Sportsplex at 7 p.m. for a presentation of a couple site plans for the South Grove Park. So if anybody's listening and is interested in coming and giving their feedback, we'd certainly appreciate you being in attendance.
And where's South Grove, for those who don't know?
South Grove is a park assessment over near Caradoc Sands Golf Course, just off of Sexton.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Darren? Okay, thank you. 6.4, housekeeping with the Medal of Distinction. Director?
So staff sent around an email late last week with the an email just identifying the changes in the Medal of Distinction package that we had asked for comments to come back. We received some comments. We've updated the application with regards to that. We've added a question and made some minor changes. We've suggested that the date be pushed back to December 31st. If we're doing a Medal of Distinction for the year 2025, why wouldn't we incorporate the entire year of 2025? And then the Medal of Distinction would be handed out in the first quarter of 2026, so the following year. So if anyone does, if there aren't any concerns, then we will proceed with publishing this application online, start promoting it and seeing if we can get any applications. We haven't had any come in as of yet to date, but maybe with a fresh push towards the end of the year, we may get some.
Councillor Palmer.
Is this form also gonna be put on the website in like a Google Forms format, like a lot of the stuff you do, Kate? It's really nice and easy for people
Yeah,
to complete.
this is fully online.
So not like this attachment?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
We will take paper copies because we accept both.
I would recommend when staff releases this on social media that staff reach out to local media for a potential interview. Anybody else? Questions, comments? We'll do the interview. Get the word out, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's move back up to 6.2, 2026 community events applications. I'm gonna actually turn it over to the director just to walk us through how we're gonna attack these submissions here.
So we provided everyone copies of the applications. We did not share the copies of those applications because some of the applications have personal information, so those aren't on the public agenda, but the spreadsheet is. That identifies the organization, what they were requesting for, whether or not for profit, so on and so forth. So what I'm going to suggest is we start at the top of the spreadsheet and then we kind of go through the spreadsheet. What I can tell you is if we were to approve everything that was requested, we would be handing out almost $75,000. Last year's budget was $53,000. If we were to go through, you'll see a column on the spreadsheet that says 25% as/CEP. So that means that they're eligible for a maximum of 25% of their event expenses. So if we took that line plus the applications that asked for less than that, we'd be looking at $51,166.68. But that would mean there are some activities or some events that would not be getting what they've asked for and what they've received in the past. Just to keep that in context, okay? So we can start with the Mount Bridges Lions, the 44th Annual Farmers Night. Again, they did have submitted a complete application. They're requesting $2,500. They received $2,500 last year. And their event has an expense of $14,000, which means they would be eligible for $3,500. If anyone has any questions, they're asking for $2,500.
Questions, comments, number one on the list. And we'll need a mover and a seconder to approve each one, is that how it works?
Yes, and then what I would suggest is that the budget has not been approved for 2026. So we can make the motion to council to approve and move forward, but then council may, depending on what they do with that 53,000, if they say, oh, we're only gonna give 25,000, right? So we're a bit ahead of the game this year around than we were last year. So we could, if we want to review each one and hold off until January to make the motions for council, or we can what I don't want to do is put council into a corner. That is not something that I think this committee would want to do. But now, the applications have come in, it's a good time to review them. And maybe this committee will send staff back to get further information on some of the applications, and we come back in January and have some more further conversation. But tonight is the first night you are seeing them. You've had them for 4 or 5 days. But
Members, just so you know, for each one, when I call for the vote, I'll also be asking for any votes that are abstained, because there will be some conflicts of interest here. So, Mount Bridges Lions 44th Annual Farmers Night. Questions, comments, or a motion? Councillor Puckman.
Just a comment. So when I was looking at these, I was looking at, so would the event take place or be at risk if the municipal funding wasn't provided? And in this case, I would say no, but I also don't want to disparage the Mount Bridges Lions Club for fear of saying we do for one community, not for another. So I would agree to this, but maybe question about whether the 2,500 is the amount that we give. But that can be decided later. It's kind of my mode of thinking.
Do you want to move it then?
Yeah, I'll move that we include the Mount Bridges Farmers Night in the funding for the dollar figure yet to be determined.
Do we have a seconder? Brad, any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Number 2, Director, Mount Bridges Optimus Easter Egg Hunt.
so this is an annual event that takes place in Mount Bridges. Just a quick Easter egg hunt enjoyed by many kids in Mount Bridges. The challenge with this one, again, they provided no real financials. They're requesting $1,000. Their proposed expenses are $2,000. So they're technically eligible based on the application or guidelines for $500. We did provide $1,000.
Can you turn your mic on, Director, please? Thank you. Sorry, I just saw that.
Sorry about that, my friend. We did provide them with, I don't really need a mic, do I? Sorry. We did provide them with $1,000 last year, but as I said, based on the application, they would be eligible for $500.
Questions, comments, or motion? Councillor Pelkman. So again, through the same lens, this is one that I would see that the $1,000 would be a good amount to provide, because there's really no revenue side for them other than corporate donations, and there's a very limited number of potential corporate donors in Mount Bridges, so I would be happy to move the full $1,000.
As submitted. Seconder? Sherry? Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Thank you. Number 3, Director, Caradoc North Home and School Paint and Sip Night.
So I may ask Kate to pop in on this one, but this is a new application. They're looking for a waiving of fees of the Caradoc Community Center. Based on their application, they are eligible for $37.50. They're asking for $599, which is the waiving of the fees.
Floor is open. Kate, you want to chime in? Your mic's on, sorry.
Yeah, they didn't specify if the event would be on a weekend or a weeknight. So we put it in at the max of $599. It could be within the $240 range.
Okay, thank you. Floor is open. For questions, comments, or a motion. Steve.
So really, it's not costing us any money out of pocket, it's just basically the rental of the unit. And if it's an off-peak time, then really it's not gonna cost us anything, right?
Through the chair to Mr. Derbyshire, you're correct. However, council has made a practice to fund the department the lost revenue. Prior to 2013, the practice was to just we'll give it away because it's free. Council of the day felt that that wasn't fair to the department. The department was always running a deficit, yet we're giving away a couple $100,000 worth of free stuff. So the decision was if there is a waiving of fees, that waiving of fees would be offset with the grant program. Understanding it's just money going from one pocket to another pocket, but there was the scrutiny of the budget was the reason why they've done that. So you're not wrong, just providing some background into why it's here.
Thank you. Kate, and then Councillor Putnam.
I will mention though, bookings at Caradoc Community Center do actually come at a cost to the municipality as we employ a contractor to open, close, and clean for those bookings.
Councillor Putnam, thank you, Kate.
I was just curious as to if someone could explain the difference between number 3 and 4. They're different, appear to be different organizations, but is the money going?
Two different schools.
Oh, okay.
Floor is open. Brad.
I'm just wondering, would we be better off to offer them the lower price now? And then they're getting a bit of a bargain, but they're only charging, and there's the other side. And do we do other schools the same way as this?
Director.
Through the chair to Mr. Richards. These are the only 2 schools that ever have come forward looking for funding.
Sherry.
Are there ever any recommendations sent back to like the organizations that are trying to apply for these types of things? Like, could we reference a recommendation to maybe not go that route with it and reach out to like some of the local legions? Like, because I know that we've done that in the past, is like we've partnered up with the Legion and they provide the room for us. We put those types of events on, like trivia night and stuff like that, where this is just going to cost them more money anyway because they're going to have to liquor license it, insurance it, and everything to be able to offer a sip and paint.
I think we did last year go back to, I think, a couple of proposals for clarification.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure if we recommended, you correct me if I'm wrong, recommended other facilities, but definitely for clarification.
Yes, so we have gone back for clarification. All of the applicants for this had the opportunity to meet with me in advance to go over the application. That is where I would make those suggestions if I didn't feel that it would be recommended by the committee. For an event like this, I would love for the committee to direct for more information because they might want the smaller room, like the Hartford room. It might be a weekday, it might be different things. Right now, we're kind of looking at it as the maximum.
If proposals, Director, do not get recommended, do we need a mover and a seconder for that choice as well?
You would, because council can always overrule the committee. But what I would suggest with this one is if this committee sends us back to the organization to gather more information, like Kate is suggesting. So maybe they don't need the Longwoods Hall, maybe they need the Hartford room or the Wendigo room. And that may be an opportunity for us to say, maybe this isn't the right venue anyway. Like, this is Caradoc North. Maybe they should be looking at, maybe they could do something with Caradoc Sands, or right, something that's a little bit closer to their school in the catchment area versus Mount Bridges. But regardless, I still think we require more information to be able to provide greater knowledge for this group.
Steve.
I'm just wondering if they're trying to use these to raise money for some kind of field trip or some kind of purchase that the school needs. And in that case, if that is the case, I think we should support this as much as we can because it is our local schools in our communities. And I don't feel we should be charging them if they're raising money to improve their schools or buy things that the kids need. So if we could go back to them and ask them, you know, is it a fundraiser and what exactly would you be raising funds for?
So you're okay with that option of going back, not moving this particular proposal?
I think it's good, yeah.
Okay, any other comments? Councillor Palmer.
I'll make that motion that we send it back.
To send it back?
Yep.
Okay, we have a seconder, Jagger. Any other questions or comments?
Just
Councillor Putnam.
Just maybe as part of that conversation, I'm sure that there are some events that we know approximately when they're going to be, and so that we should have the right to kind of dictate the calendar a little bit. If we're donating the funds, I don't have an issue with donating the space, but I kind of feel like Sherry's suggestion is correct, that another venue might make them more money, and if we can assist with that, then, you know, we avoid the expenses of looking after the hall for the cleanup and opening and closing. And if they can make more money, then we've done them a favor.
Jagger, are you okay with that aspect of the consultation as the seconder?
Yes, I am.
Any other questions or comments to that motion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Number 4, looks like kind of the same thing. Caradoc Public School Battle of the Bands, Director.
So this one here is the school in Mount Bridges. This is a return event, so this happened last year. I wasn't able to attend, but I heard it was a fun night by those that did attend. They are asking for a waiving of the fees, and we're looking at $1,327. They have the eligibility of $1,875 based on their application.
To the floor. Kate.
I would just like to note that I have here that the previous event financials were not provided. They have since been provided.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, or motion? Councillor Puckman.
My understanding is you need the size of the space for this one, right? Yeah. So I'm okay with moving the funding as suggested.
Seconder. Steve. Any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Number 5.
So,
Sorry,
through
Dr. Glenn.
the chair, correct me if I'm wrong, clerk, but an abstention is actually a no vote. Right? So, if someone has to abstain, they need to declare conflict. All right? So
should I be asking that before we head into that
Yes,
particular
yes,
proposal?
yes,
Okay, sure,
yeah.
I can do that.
just for following the procedure.
Okay, no, thank you, Director, appreciate that. Number 5, Melbourne Ag Society, Melbourne Fair, any conflicts of interest? Okay, Director.
So again, this is an annual request. They provide no expenses for 2026. The 2025 expenses were $15,208. They're requesting $10,000 based off of the expenses that they've provided from 2025, because they didn't give us any proposed expenses for 2026. Their eligibility is $3,802.18, asking for $10,000.
To the floor. Steve and then Councillor Puckman.
To Rob, what was it last year, Rob, that they got, and the years before that?
So they've historically received, when I first started here, about $5,000 for a few years. Then it jumped to $10,000. They didn't have to submit any application. We've just recently started, when we revamped the program, we did start requiring them to submit an application to provide some background on where, why, and what. So last year they received $10,000. The year before they would have received $10,000, and so on. So, but again, just going by the application and what the expenses that they provided, their eligibility is $3,802.18. But that would have been similar, as that would have been last year's eligibility as well, and council and this committee elected to provide them with the $10,000.
Councillor Puckman.
Yes, thank you. Just again, a little bit of history. Typically, the $10,000 hasn't been for one specific event, but for their whole annual funding. And again, looking at it through the lens of if we didn't do this, would anything happen in Melbourne? And probably the answer is no. So I would be in favor of extending or continuing the $10,000.
Seconder. Jagger. Comments or questions to the motion? Councillor Pammer?
Is that motion though based on approval of a budget, right?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Number 6, Strathroy-Caradoc Community Over Cancer. Any conflicts of interest? Seeing none, we'll turn to the director.
This is another annual event. They're asking for a simple waiving of fees. Last year they had $4,739.99. This year they're asking for $5,000. They do have an eligibility of $52,200. They are changing venue locations this year. They are moving to West Middlesex instead of the Gemini.
To the floor. Kate?
Just to elaborate on the $5,000, that is an estimation. We're not sure how long they'll need to get the stage and things set up at West Middlesex, so that might add or take away some of the time.
Thank you, Kate. Floor is open. Steve?
What was it last year?
$4,739.99.
Councillor Popman?
From a usage standpoint, we're more likely to be able to use the Gemini in off-ice time than West Middlesex, is that correct?
Say that again, sorry.
Like I know Gemini's used pretty heavily through the summer, whereas West Middlesex pretty much stays dormant until the summer camps. This happens prior to summer camps, correct?
Yes.
So it would be at a time where there's most likely nothing happening at West Middlesex?
Aside from maybe lacrosse or other activities, but not as busy as the Gemini. If I may, the reason for the location change is because typically what we've done in our operations is we've kept West Middlesex open till the middle of May, and we've taken a sheet of ice out at Gemini. What that does is now we have to operate 2 facilities full bore, which requires double the staff. So the intent this year is to close West Middlesex down at the beginning of April. Then we only have 1 building up and running fully, and then we sporadically have staff in West Middlesex for events like this. It's a better use of our labor force and allows us to be more responsive to our park needs in the springtime.
Yeah, this is not the only event moving to the West Mid. From being at the Gemini last year, the home show is going there too. So that's based on that.
Correct.
And so I'm guessing that's also means that it's been at our request that we asked them to move.
That is correct.
Yeah. All right, then I would move that we approve the funding as requested.
Moving number 6, Councillor Popman, just to clarify, okay, any seconder? Councillor Pammer, any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Number 7, Rico Foods Lions Club Santa Claus Parade. I will declare a conflict of interest, but I'm available for any event-specific questions to the director.
Repeat event. Again, no financials were provided. They asked for $3,500 last year. That's what they received. Based on their application, they have an eligibility of $3,000. But again, they did receive $3,500 last year.
Floor is open. Councillor Popman.
Is this to cover any one specific cost? Like I think in the past it was insurance, wasn't it?
There's multiple costs involved. There's insurance, there's entertainment. It helps with the cost of everything. There is obviously sponsorship that's part of the event, but this definitely helps with the costs that are incurred, yeah. Councillor Pammer.
Is this for 2025 parade or 2026?
2026.
Okay. I would motion that we approve the full 3,500, and my reasoning behind that is because this is a municipal-wide event open to the public for free. Where some of the other things, you know, although the public's invited, there's costs involved, but this is actually a free event for people to attend to, so I'm okay with, I think the municipality could give them the full request just because there's no charge to attend. It's in a community-wide event.
Okay, Councillor Pammer moves as presented, correct, Councillor Pammer?
Yep.
Seconder. Brad, any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? And one abstain. Number 8, Strathroy-Caradoc Almost Canada Day. Any conflicts of interest? Okay, Director?
So this is the first time that they've actually applied to the program. The first year that they applied was late 2024, and there was money still available in the program. Council, they came to council requesting the $9,000. Council granted them the $9,000. They did not come back in 2025 asking for funds for the, again, so they only received the $9,000. This year they've asked for $18,000. Again, they do have an eligibility of $18,750.
Floor is open. Steve?
What is it? Is it fireworks on Canada Day, or what's being provided?
Director? Or Kate?
Yeah, so Strathroy, the committee that has been formed, does an almost Canada Day, so it's the day before. This year it's on June 30th, as to not compete with the Delco Bridge Canada Day event on July 1st.
Yeah, there's live entertainment, fireworks, drone show, there's vendors on site. It's pretty much quite a few hours until the end of the night show. Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, I would motion to approve the full 18,000, again, for similar reasons as the Santa Claus Parade. This is a community-wide event. It's free, except I think they might charge for parking.
They take donations for parking. I believe, off the top of my head, they donated $10,000 back into the community this year for breakfast programs.
Yeah, so I think it's, and if they weren't doing something on Canada Day or around Canada Day, then residents will be looking at the municipality to run it. So I think if they're willing to run it, it's a big endeavor, but it, benefits the whole community and is another free event. So I'm gonna motion that we give them the full 18,000.
Seconder. Councillor Pelkman, any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Oh, sorry, my apologies, Councillor Pelkman.
I was just gonna say, maybe we should mark this one also as one where we revisit the number. I certainly think they're worthy of a donation, whether or not, at some point we gotta cut something. And if they're giving $10,000 back to the community, then maybe they don't need $18,000.
Director, do we need to add that on to the motion or not? With Councillor Palmer's approval?
Well, you would, because that would be sending us back to them to see if they're prepared to lower their numbers. So
Okay.
what I can tell you is we currently have not reduced anything except for the farmers' night, where we're gonna go back and ask them about money. And if we approve everything, as I said earlier, we're almost $75,000 on a budget of $53,000.
Councillor Palmer.
But does that include the cash value for the
It does.
arenas? So and we count that all as cash? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, so the $5,000 for Kairos Care, that $5,000 comes out of the $53,000 and goes into the recreation budget to offset the expense.
Okay.
Councillor Palmer, Kate?
Just to give everyone an update, if we move forward with this 18,000, we're at number 8 and we're sitting at $38,827.
I love that Kate's here. Steve, and then we'll go back to Councillor Palmer for potential motion revision. Steve?
Yeah, why didn't we look at what we gave them last year? I think that would be a reasonable number to look at and see if they can live with that, and then that keeps our numbers down, but we're still giving them something.
Okay, well, we do have a motion that's seconded on the floor, but I'll throw it back to Councillor Palmer for a possible revision or an add-on. Councillor Palmer?
Yeah, I'll take the friendly amendment presented by Councillor Palcom what's your name? That the amendment was that we approve it based on funding availability, or
Just
What
that,
was your word, sorry?
that we'll give them money, but we're gonna have to check to see
Okay, yeah.
how much money it is, cause we'll have to revisit after.
So
we
not
go
the,
through this.
not the proposed figure, we're going back?
Yep.
Is that what I'm hearing?
We'll come back to it.
Okay, so that's seconded. Any other questions or comments to that amended motion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Kate.
Can I just mention that I encourage all applicants to apply for the maximum, and this committee can bring that down. So for something like this, the committee doesn't necessarily need to go back to them. You can offer a lower amount.
Just-
Okay, Councillor Popwin?
Just for clarification, because I made the motion on the first one as well, I was not thinking of going back to either group. I'm thinking that we need to discuss about what we're willing to provide them.
Okay, so before we move on from number 8, are we good with what was voted through then? Okay, we're good? Okay. Number 9, Strathroy Hometown Festival. I will declare a conflict of interest. Kate and myself are available for any event-specific questions, Director.
So this one has a bit of a twist to it. They are asking for 20,000, but that's to $15,000 would go towards Hometown Festival, and $5,000 would go towards taking over the operation of Ribfest. So staff, we spend about $20,000 to $25,000 of cost to the municipality to operate Ribfest. So that was one area where we're looking to save some money with regards to our budget. And the Hometown Festival Committee has indicated that they would be willing to pick up that weekend an event. I'll leave it up to Kate and to Chris kind of explain the rationale behind why. But that's the reason why there's the 20 and not just the 15.
You want to chime in, Kate?
Yeah, absolutely. So it would be considered still Hometown Festival. It'd be one event spread over 2 weekends. The sports related pieces that the committee has put together, like the ball hockey tournament, beach volleyball tournament, those pieces would go to the Ribfest weekend. Hometown Festival is a really small committee of 6, and it's a lot for them to do in one weekend, so this is an opportunity for them to make revenue from Ribfest as well.
To the floor. Sherry.
So is Hometown still be running as a 4-day event or back to a 3-day event, and both of them are run as 3 days, or?
Hometown Festival is pretty much leaning to go back to 3, and Ribfest would remain the Friday through Sunday.
The 3-day.
Yeah, so be the Hometown Festival remain on Father's Day for 2026, and Ribfest weekend will be July 3rd through the 5th. Questions, comments, motion? Councillor Puckman.
So technically, this would be met with a cost reduction in the budget of the rec department? Or in reality terms, do we spend the same amount of staff time changing garbages and other stuff like that? Not excusing Kate's time, because I know her time is very
I changed the
valuable.
garbages at Ribfest.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So there wouldn't be an increase in operations staff time, because we have staff on weekends anyway. So they may just have to do more trips through the area than they have in the past, because they won't have Kate there to be emptying garbage cans. But that works already. We pay the staff already, so.
Any other questions, comments, or a motion? Oh, Councillor Palmer, sorry.
So I'll motion that we accept, that we approve the 20,000 in principle pending, I guess what we were saying at the other one, the final balance. But in principle, I think it's, cost savings for the municipality and makes sense. So I would like to see them get that amount, the increase, if we can afford it.
Seconder. Councillor Puckman. Questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Opposed? 1, and abstain 1. Carried. Thank you. Before we move on to number 10, I just wanted to make a comment on behalf of the festival about the work that Kate put into that. Ribfest, for the time that she's been on Ribfest, an amazing job leading that. In some way, I was part of it last year, so I saw firsthand the work that she did. So, cheers to you on a job well done. Okay. Number 10, Strathroy-Caradoc Cruisers Car Club Hometown Festival Show and Shine Car Show. I don't think I have a conflict of interest, so I'm good. Any other any conflicts of interest for this?
So this,
Director?
this is the annual Friday night of Hometown Festival, where the streets are filled with antique hot rod cars and French fries and hamburgers, whatever. It's quite the atmosphere. This is the second year for the request of $1,000 to help facilitate that event in the downtown.
Floor is open. Councillor Pammer.
But last year we only gave them 500, correct? It says here. I don't get the right one.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, and so do we know why they asked for more this year?
Kate?
I encourage everyone to ask for the
Okay,
max.
right, you said that, sorry. Do we know what the money is primarily, like what would their expenses be?
Kate?
Yeah, so they do an awesome show downtown. They bring in the stage, they bring in all of those pieces. I know personally, last year their volunteers were stretched and I had to go pick up some absorbent for an oil pan that fell out, and they reimbursed me right away for that. So there are costs that come along with it. They also have a higher cost in cleaning after the car show.
Yeah, and live entertainment as well on the stage downtown, Councillor Pammer as well. There's an expense towards the band. I don't know all the expenses, so I can assure you there's a cost for the band. Councillor Pupman?
So I guess my question is how did this get separated from Hometown?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Show and Shine Car Show is strictly run by the Cruisers under the umbrella of the Hometown Festival. That is their specific event. Just like the Downtown Market, which runs during the festival as one of their scheduled dates, it is run by the market with the Hometown Festival on the same weekend. But it's an event strictly run by the Cruisers. They organize it, they staff it, all that stuff. The Hometown Festival, other than the name being there, nothing comes from the Cruisers towards the festival as far as revenue or anything like that.
They would also do the event if Hometown Festival moved dates. The car show would want to remain in the same date.
Yeah, that was confirmed when we approached them. They said that they would not be involved. They want to remain on the Friday of Father's Day weekend. Steve?
How do they generate their revenue otherwise, Chris? Do they do it through donations, or do they do it through?
Kate's going to jump in with me. I think there's an entry. I think there's a small entry fee for the cars.
Yep.
Kate, anything else, Kate?
They get some sponsorship as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sell tickets.
Yeah, Napa's heavily involved with that event as well.
And I know Falconers this year helped
Correct.
with building their stage.
Yeah, that's right too. Brad?
And they do a 50-50 draw too, I think.
That's correct.
And my own question is, what would be Friday night be like without them, I guess? That's a pretty big thing. Now, $1,000, maybe we can negotiate, see if we can get back to 500, but I think they deserve something. I just don't know the right amount.
So there's someone who wants to put a motion together here? Steve?
I'd motion we give them what we did last year. I think that $500 shows that we're involved and we're part of this show, and you know, we appreciate them putting it on, and it helps out the Hometown Festival.
The motion for number 10 is $500. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Pammer, any questions or comments to that motion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Number 11, Pride in the Park. Any conflicts of interest here? Okay, Director?
Again, didn't provide financials. They're asking for $5,000. Last year's funding is blank. I can't remember. Did we miss that number, Kate?
Yeah, we did. I'll look it up right now.
Thank you. They're asking for 5,000. They are technically eligible for 3,000. If memory serves me correct, I think it was 3,500 from last year, but I could be wrong.
Floor is open. Councillor Puckman?
And I know they didn't provide financials. This is another one where the funding kind of goes for more than one event, correct? Is it matched over the whole year or
No,
Kate?
it's just for Pride in the Park.
just for Pride in the Park? Then I would say we give we've already overruled the 25% if on some of the other ones, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Do we know what we did last year?
Want me to come back to you?
I think we need to send this one back to the committee for a specific ask what the $3,000.
Send it back to Strathroy Pride?
Yeah. I know that they were pretty good on the sponsorships last year, and just throw it out to them and say, hey, we've had $75,000 worth of requests.
Is that a motion, Councillor? Send it back to Strathroy Pride for consultation?
Yes.
Seconder. Councillor Palmer, any questions or comments to that motion? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Number 12, Mount Bridges Business Association, Christmas Open House. Any conflicts of interest here? Seeing none, we'll turn to the director.
Again, long-standing event, asking for the same as they had last year, which is $500.
Floor is open. Steve.
I think when they give a small ask like that, and it's part of the community, that we should provide them at some funds. It shows that we're involved in it, and we think that it's a worthwhile cause. So I'd be for giving them $500 again.
Yeah, just to Councillor Palmer's point from earlier in this section, it's free to attend. If you want to purchase anything, you're purchasing it from downtown businesses in the Mount Bridges, right? But it's free to attend as an event. So you want to make that motion, Steve?
I would make the motion for
$500?
the same as
Okay.
last year.
Seconder? Jagger. Comments, questions to the motion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Delco Mount Bridges Canada Day. Any conflicts of interest here? Okay, Director.
So they, again, long-standing event. Every year it rotates through a number of different communities, and the year it is housed in Strathroy-Caradoc, specifically in Mount Bridges. They ask for 5,000. When it's not in Mount Bridges, they ask for 1,000.
Floor is open. Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, for the same reasons as we supported the other one, I'll motion that we approve the 5,000 for 2026 Delco Bridges Canada Day.
Seconder? Brad. Questions, comments to the motion? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Number 14, Fridge Door, Lawrence Station. Any conflicts of interest here? Okay, Director.
This is second time that the Fridge Door Theater Company has come forward looking for funding. Again, asked for $1,500 last year and is asking for $1,500 again this year.
To the floor. Steve.
What's our total sitting at right now?
We'll go to Kate.
$26,827, and that is not including any of the bigger ones, like Almost Canada Day, Hometown Festival.
So if you add in everything that the committee has approved.
Approved is $26,827.
Well, what I mean approved is the comments were approved based on funding.
Yeah.
We're sitting at $67,926. So the only thing that's not included in that is the $5,000 from for Pride, where you sent us back to the committee to Pride to speak to them.
Okay, let's work on Fridge Door and then go up, move forward after that somewhere. Steve.
Well, just to clarify then, we're already from last year, we're what, 13,000 over? 14,000, right? You said 53 from
Yep,
last year?
Yep, we're well over.
We're well over, okay.
Director, once we complete 14, do we have the right to go back and review during this meeting?
Absolutely, we can do
Okay,
whatever
let's
we
work
want.
on 14. Fridge door, Councillor Powell.
Do we know that the event actually took place? Because I don't remember seeing it being advertised.
It did happen last year, yes.
So they're doing the same, what's this,
It's a different play.
Councillor Pammer.
thank you, a different
Okay.
plan.
Jagger.
Is this at the right performance hall place, or where does
Yes.
this take place? Yeah, right, yeah.
Any other questions, comments, or motion? Councillor Pugman?
I guess I would send it back. There is a foundation that can provide money for performances, so I would want to make sure that they've made that application and what kind of success they've had before we put any public money into that.
Motion to not approve or motion to go back and find out?
Motion to send it back.
Motion to send it back on the floor. Do we have a seconder? Jagger. Questions, comments to the motion? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Do we want to,
So let Kate and I, if you give us 5
turn
minutes,
your mic on?
if you can give Kate and I 5 minutes just to make sure our numbers are right, and then we'll come back, okay?
Okay, we'll stand in a 5-minute recess. That's the first time I've had to say that.
Well, you're welcome.
Kara did everything,
Let me know, Mel.
Homeless Canada Day, Home Festival.
Okay, members, we are back in session. Director?
So just want to confirm we're to go back to number 14, which is the Fridge Door Theater Company. We're to go back to number 11, which is Pride in the Park. And we're to go back to number 3, which is the Caradoc North Home and School Paint and Sip Night. Right? So if we have not included those dollar values in the number that I'm about to give you, drum roll please, $67,827. So at the start, when this agenda item came forward, I indicated if we give everybody everything that they've asked for, which is what we've done so far, minus those 3, we would be $74,926. If we were to give everything that that they asked for, as long as they weren't over the CEP, 25%, we'd be $65,166. So we have to make some decisions on how we're going to proceed, because the unapproved budget amount right now, and I'm saying it's 53,000, it may be 55,000, but it's not any more than 55. So I'm sticking with what was approved last year.
Where would we like to revisit? We'll start with Councillor Puckman.
So I guess I'd like to look at the Almost Canada Day first. We gave them $9,000.
Correct.
So I would propose we reduce the ask to $10,000.
So a motion, members, for number 8 to approve $10,000 instead of the proposed. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Palmer, questions or comments to that motion? Steve?
So does that drop us by $8,000 then? So now
Correct.
we're down to 60?
We're down to 59,827.
Any other questions or comments to the motion that has been seconded? All in favor? That's carried. Where else do we want to go here? Steve?
I think we should keep the small number guys, like the guys who are asking for $500, because that's not gonna drop any huge amounts off the budget. And it does add quite a bit of involvement of us in the community to that. Right?
Okay, is there anyone else, anywhere? Okay, Councillor Palmer, you had your hand up. Are you good for now, or?
Nope, I was just gonna, suggest that we, with Pride in the Park, we give them their 25, we put them in at the 25%, which is the 3,000, not the 5. So that'll take us down another 2.
It won't allow you, because we
Takes us up
didn't include that 5,000.
That was a go back. That
We
was-
didn't include $3 or 3 figures, right?
Mhm. Originally, that was to send back for consultation. Jagger?
I mean, the only higher dollar value events that we have that are, is the Canada Day, the DKMD, MB Canada Day, or the Melbourne Fair, but I can appreciate that there's a certain tradition around, I guess, both of those things, so I don't know.
Okay, let's go to Kate.
I just want to share this for some context. The county has an event grant fund, and in previous years, municipally event-wise, we've been able to attain between $3,000 and $5,000 from them, and this year we got $0. And only 2 Strathroy-Caradoc events actually were given funding. One was to the Right Place and one was to the Hometown Festival. So event grants are being cut across the board. So we're not getting things from the province, we're not getting things from the county either currently. So it is something that all of these groups will be experiencing in other grants as well.
Thank you. Floor remains open. Councillor Palmer.
So I'm just gonna take this conversation in another direction here. When we introduced these eligibility as a committee, the idea was it was a new concept and we were gonna hold people's hands for a little bit as we work them through it. Now we're in year 3, and you know, a fair number of these events, of these applicants, have not even fulfilled the eligibility requirements. There's some that have, straight across the board. We look at Cairo Cares is yes, yes, yes. Almost Canada Day, Hometown Festival, Delco Bridges Canada Day, but the rest, really their applications are incomplete. And it bothers me a little bit from a governance and a fiduciary responsibility of taxpayers' dollars. We agreed that this criteria was important so that we could justify, not just justify, but fully understand how the monies were being used, whether the groups applying for them, were in fact not-for-profits or, and just to get some more information. But 60% of them or more haven't really gone there. So my question to the committee for the discussion is, how serious are we? Why do we create eligibility and then we approve things of people who don't submit it. Now, sometimes there's fair examples, there's some notes here, not available, or, you know, Delco Bridges obviously didn't do it last year, in Mount Bridges, you know, that's fully acceptable, like when there's comments like that, but I don't know, how does everybody else feel about that? That's how I feel about it, and perhaps all the incomplete applications should be thrown back and see who completes the application process.
I'll make a comment. Without getting specific, there are proposals on that table that have not filled out the criteria, but were approved because of what events they are. The information that was not included could be included. I'll leave it like that, because I'm just saying, there are applications that were approved already by this committee tonight that weren't complete and could have been complete because the information is available. Floor is open. Steve?
Well, so are we suggesting that we cancel the Santa Claus parade because they didn't fill out those things? Is that what we're looking at?
Councilor Phelan?
I'm suggesting we go back to them and we say your application's incomplete, and we give them a date to have everything finalized before we make a final assessment.
Steve?
So again, if they don't fill that out, then we're gonna cancel that event?
If I can put my Lions hat on, I'm not sure that we would cancel the event, but I can't speak for the club and the organizing committee. The director?
The municipality would not be canceling any event. It would be up to the organizers of the event to cancel the event. We would just simply not be providing the funding requested. It would be their decision whether or not to hold the event. If the funding wasn't provided to Hometown Festival, that's Hometown Festival's decision. It's no different than if the municipality applies for a grant to build an arena and we don't get the grant to build the arena, the municipality has a decision to make. It's not that we would be canceling.
That's correct. Delco Bridge doesn't get funding for candidate, then it's up to them if they still want to run the event. Kate?
Oh, I was just going to say almost the same thing as Rob, that when it comes to federal, provincial grants, if your application's incomplete, you don't even make it through the first stage.
Councilor Pammer?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I remember when we first implemented this process, you know, Kate was reaching out to everybody individually, offering help with applications, help to get the format correct, fill in the blanks. And I think you sounds like you're still going back and doing some hand holding, but I think at some point we have to pull the plug or get rid of the eligibility and just have them write a letter saying, I want $1,000 for, you know, an Easter egg hunt or whatever. Mm-hmm. Either you're going to do it or you're not. And I do think the transition years are important. And I appreciate that a lot of these organizations are run by volunteer committees, and those boards change often. And so there's always some difficulties, but we do have staff prepared to help them. Sure. So I think we have to maybe, when we're in this funding situation, we just go back and say to people, complete your application, and then we look at whoever's completed the application.
Director, and then Councillor Pelkman.
Just a couple points. The application is not hard to fill out. It's probably one of the simpler ones that we have. The staff are always letting people know that we're here to assist them should they need assistance. Some people call us, some people don't. I would suggest that those that aren't calling us are the ones that haven't provided financials. The eligibility criteria was created with consultation from this group when we come back with the CEP program. And the eligibility was put there to support our judiciary responsibility, right? And not just freely, willy giving out funds to community groups. I'll go back and Councillor Pelkman and Mr. Richards was on council at the time. When I started in 2013, we were giving away over $200,000 worth of free stuff.
250,000, I think it was.
North of $200,000 worth of free stuff without any real tracking. And that didn't include that we gave out free ball diamonds and free soccer fields. So we've come a long way. I think this is just another step in the evolution of trying to get and hold people accountable for what they're asking for. You know, if you're asking for $10,000, spending an hour and a half with a staff member on the phone or coming in for a meeting, that's a pretty valuable hour and a half for $10,000, right? So.
Councillor Bachman.
Sorry, what was our dollar figure at right now?
$59,827. That does not include the $7,099 that we've pulled.
All right, then I would make a motion that we drop the Farmers Night. What did we approve for, 2,500? Was that
Correct, that's number 1 on your list, members.
So I would say we drop that to 1,500.
Motion to reduce number 1's proposal to $1,500. Do we have a seconder? Brad, any questions or comments to the motion? Steve?
Oh, no, sorry, not the motion.
Okay, all in favor? Carried, opposed? Carried, thank you very much. Any other places we want to go? Councillor Popman.
This one might be a bit difficult, but given that the Melbourne Agricultural Society, that their proposed expenses are $15,000 and we're providing 2/3 of that, I think we could drop $1,000 there and go to $9,000.
Motion is to reduce the original by 1,000, is that what you're saying for number 5?
Yep.
And what was the original, if we can clarify that for
10,000.
10,000, so to $9,000. Seconder? You want a second or you had a comment?
Comment.
Let's see if we have a seconder first, Stephen, and I'll come back to you. You have a seconder for that motion? To reduce the Melbourne Ag Society from 10,000 to 9,000. Councillor Palmer is a seconder. Steve, comment or question?
I think we should go back to every one of these and ask them what they really need. Instead of shoot the moon and ask for the most, and then now it's us deciding for them. I think it would be better if we knew exactly what they needed to make this operation happen, right? To me, it feels like that they've given the highest dollar value that they can, and now I'm trying to decide whether they really need that money or they don't need that money. And I'm not being able to decide that based on anything, really. I can't see their financials, I don't know any of that, right?
Okay.
So for me, it's difficult when we don't know exactly what they actually need.
Any other questions or comments? We do have a motion on the table. Sherry?
I think we're having a hard time like distinguishing too between the ones that have asked for use of facility versus they're not getting a check in hand, right? So when some of these ones have asked for use of a hall to help to support a fundraising event, that those fundraising dollars are going right back into something, they're not physically getting a check in hand for that actual hall. So it does look different on this charting comparing to, you know, Hometown Festival will get those dollars, right? But they also help to bring a community together, bring everybody out, and everybody enjoys it and has a great time. And it's, you know, like you can spend money there or not spend money there, right? So I think like trying to distinguish between the two is what's really kind of, I think, drawing the line a little bit with some of this.
Director.
So if I can try to clear that up a little bit. There is a check in hand, it just doesn't get to the person who supplied the application. So we could take the stance that the organization, Caradoc Home and School Association, pay the $1,327, right? And then the municipality receives that revenue and then we give you a check for $1,327. All we're doing is cutting out writing the check. That $1,327 is going from one hand to the other hand in the municipality, right? So there is a check being cut, it's just your organizers aren't seeing it, right? So there is no real difference. We can sit here and say, oh, it's just a waiving of fees. Well, there's a cost to running the building, regardless if there's a fee or not, right? So that's I think if you take that lens of you know, that $1,327 has to be paid by somebody, right? So you could get the check and still have to pay the municipality. We're just choosing not to send you the invoice, and then the check comes to the rec department. That's all.
Kate?
Just to speak to what I said earlier about encouraging everyone to go for the maximum amount in this, that's recommended in all grants across the board, is to go for the maximum amount that you could make your event better with. In these 14 events, only one group met with me to go over their application. So only one group actually went over the application, and I encouraged this year to up your amount, and that's Strathroy-Caradoc, Almost Canada Day. The rest of the groups did not meet with me, so the amount that they have requested for this year is their own specific amount that was not influenced by me or the process.
Councillor Pammer and then Councillor Pelton.
Just answering to Steve's comment, go back to them and see how much they could cut. I'm not sure that's gonna be very effective. And what will, you know, having been involved in many not-for-profits, what will happen likely is we'll just have to go to the public and get more, they'll just have to go get more sponsorship. I mean, that's generally where these organizations' revenue for operating would come. They'll come through sponsorship dollars, which is essentially what the town is doing, is they're sponsoring an event. So if you lost one sponsor, then you just have to find another one. That's what would happen. I don't think anybody would come, I don't know how many would come back and say, put a number on it. And I think that would be a fair bit of tedious work and take quite a bit of time.
Councillor Pelton?
So my attempt to what I'm doing here is looking at this list is to try and get us close to what a number that I feel that council would approve. And so I'm trying to use some kind of criteria in my head. So I'll look at number 14. And I know we said it to send them back, but it's not held in one of our facilities. It's not open to the public. You got to buy a ticket. So I feel like that's maybe one we should just drop. Instead of say, let's go back, let's just drop it.
Motion to not approve 14.
Yes.
Seconder, Councillor Pammer. Any questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? That's carried. Do we want to go anywhere else?
You're at $58,827, not including the $5,000 for Pride in the Park or the $600 for the paint night. I'm looking at the Hometown Festival. If I can make a comment, I don't have a vote here. The $20,000, $5,000 is for Ribfest. We identify that as a net savings of, let's say, $15,000 on the budget. If this committee was to recommend that the $15,000 go ahead for the Hometown Festival weekend, pending council's decision on the budget and the $20,000, you know, eliminating the Ribfest from staff operation, then there could be a recommendation at that point from the budget committee to give $5,000 to Hometown Festival to run the event. Then it's not impacting the 53,000 at this meeting, if you know what I mean.
Floor remains open. Steve?
So are you saying that the $5,000 that you shifted to us, right? You're saying take it back to council and see if they'll absorb it again, or?
Well, it would have to come from council. Right now, we have a budget number from last year for these grants of $53,000. What I'm suggesting is the department has proposed a budget to the budget committee minus RootFest, which we estimate to be about a $20,000 savings. What I'm saying is council agrees to that budget reduction in recreation. Instead of it being a $15,000 saving or a $20,000 savings, it's a $15,000 savings because $5,000 be directed to the hometown festival from that savings. Don't know if that's too confusing.
Councillor Putman.
Would it not be an easier argument to make that the budget should be up to $60,000, given that there's a reduction in staff spending? I think that's an easier sell at the council chamber than the very convoluted one that you just suggested.
That's why you're a counselor and I'm just staff.
All right, then I'll make that a motion here that we recommend to council up the budget for the CEP funding up to $60,000.
Motion on the table, on the floor, sorry. Councillor Pamela as a seconder. Any questions or comments to the motion? Anybody need the motion revoiced? All in favor? Carried.
And where were we at a dollar number?
You're currently at, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kate, if you're following along, $58,827. Am I right?
Not including Pride.
Not including Pride or the paint night. Am I right?
I think I lost the plot somewhere, give me a second.
Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
Well, why don't we give those two events the remainder of that and split it amongst them? That would bring us to the 60G, right? We've covered all of them. And we'll see what council says, and if council sends it back, then we gotta cut again, right?
Floor remains open. Kate, did you, sorry, I thought you were going to the mic, sorry about that.
63,327.
I have 58,827 because we took $1,000 off of the Mel Bridges Lions Club.
Turn your mic on, sir. Thank you.
We took $1,000 off of the Ag Society,
Okay. Yep.
and we took
Off number one, wasn't it?
$8,000 off of the Almost Canada Day.
Correct. Councillor Putman.
I would suggest we remove $1,000 from the Cowers Care. I mean, that event is turning a significant amount of revenue. We're still donating heavily at $4,000, but that $1,000 would provide us enough money to provide Pride in the Park with the $3,000 that we gave them last year.
So you, just for clarification, you want to remove $1,000 from the West Middlesex fee?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, is there a seconder for that? Councillor Palmer, this is for number 6, Kairos Care. Questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Opposed? 1. Carried.
So that you now at $57,827.
I'll make another motion that we reduce the Battle of the Bands to $1,000 from $1,327.
That is number 4. Reduced to $1,000 total. Is there a seconder? Brad, questions or comments to that motion? Question, Steve.
Does that mean they'll have to pay some money towards that community center then? So that event then might not happen.
They would have to pay $327. They're proposing a revenue of $13,000 on an expense of $7,500. So It would be their decision, but
Steve, follow up?
So again, they're raising money for their school through that. Did we see what that was going towards?
I would suggest that any money any home and school association that is raising funds is going to either towards purchasing something for the school or field trips. It'll be specific to that school. It wouldn't be going back to the province, into the province's coffers. It would be supplementing school purchases or field trips.
Sherry?
So I can tell you what it raised last year was $11,300. We paid for, in hand, the sound system, to replace the sound system in the auditorium because it was garbaged out after 20 years. And so it got installed this summer and all the teaching staff got trained on it for free.
We have a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments to that motion? Can we please have the motion voice, Steve, for people?
That we reduce the recommended funding from $1,327 to $1,000.
And that's for number 4. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? 1. Carried. Councillor Pammer?
I would propose that we remove the rental fee from number 3. Just take that off the books. I think that there's probably other space in the community they might be able to access that would make more sense.
Do we have a seconder? Oops, I apologize. Do we have a seconder for that? I'm talking about number 3. Jagger as a seconder. Okay. Questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Opposed? 1. It is carried.
So that currently leaves $5,000 not included in this $57,500 for Pride in the Park.
Councillor Popman?
I'll make a motion that we give Pride in the Park $3,000.
Okay, motion on the floor. Where is that? Sorry, number 11. It was $3,000 a figure, Councillor Popman. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Pammer. Questions or comments to that motion? Steve?
What was it last year? Did we end up finding that out or not?
Kate, do you have that figure?
No, I stopped looking when we said we were going back.
Okay, that's okay.
Their application is not easy to read. It says 5,000-3,000. So don't know what that means.
I believe we gave them $5,000 last year because they were upping their stage stuff, and then it got rained out almost. So, yeah.
Any other questions or comments to the motion? Does everybody remember the motion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
So you're now at 60,500.
Kate?
Rob, where are you getting the extra 500? Because I have 60,000 here.
It's a little more math, okay?
Okay, so for Farmer's Night, I have it at 1,500.
Yep,
Then 1,000 for the Easter egg hunt.
yep,
Nothing for Caradoc North.
correct,
$1,000 for Battle of the Bands.
correct,
9,000 for the Ag Society.
correct.
5,000 for Kairos Care.
Nope, 4,000.
4,000, okay. Then 3,500 for Parade.
Yep,
10,000 for Almost Canada Day.
Yep.
Still at 20,000 for Hometown Festival.
Yep.
500 for the Cruisers.
Yep.
3,000 for Pride in the Park.
Yep.
500 for the Christmas Open House.
Yep.
5,000 for Canada Day.
Yep.
Okay.
And nothing for Fridge Door, okay. Is that 60,000?
I got that fast.
Is that the drum roll, Steve?
There's a lot of people in the room looking at me right now.
There's a few, people more on TV.
That puts us at 59,000.
59,000. See, they told me to get into recreation, I didn't need math.
Steve,
Well, if we're at 59,000 and we're asking for 60, I'd like to motion that the school battle of the bands, we give them back the 300 and whatever, $98, yeah. I'd like to see that, and then whoever we can boost up to the 60, I'd like to see that happen too.
what was the figure for that? 327, you said, Director?
Yep.
Motion, Steve, motion for 327 to add back on to Battle of the Bands, is that correct?
Yeah, that
Do we have a
is
seconder for that? Jagger, questions or comments to that motion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 4-3. That's our tightest vote in 5 years, I think. And Councillor Pugman?
Then I would suggest the remaining funds go to the Almost Canada Day Festival.
The remaining funds would be, can we have an amount on that from either Kate?
$673, am I right on that? 327 minus 1,000?
1,000 minus 327 is $673.
So the motion on the floor is $673 back into the Almost Canada Day. Is that correct, Councillor?
Yep.
Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Pammer. Questions or comments to the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Councillor Buckman.
I was just gonna say, the only reason why I voted against the $327 was that again, is an event where you're charging admission to, whereas Canada Day is not. I would have rather seen the $327 go to Canada Day.
That's the only reason I voted as well, like that. Steve.
I would have liked to seen the money go to the remainder, go to any school events, so that our local schools can purchase items that they need to purchase. And I think that's a worthwhile cause. I would have liked to seen that sipping thing have maybe a chance for them to raise some money too, and it wouldn't have cost us that much. But it is what it is, and
No,
we'll go from there.
Chris, can I comment on that?
Yes, you can, Kate.
I'll go back to the Caradoc North Home and School and come up with some ideas for them that would be beneficial. Like Sherry said, if they are wanting to do a sip and paint night, not only would they have to pay for their proposed expenses, they have them listed here at $150. Their liquor license would be $150 alone, so I don't think that they know what their expenses would be.
Okay, follow up, Steve.
But maybe it's a non-alcohol. Maybe they're just.
It's a sip and
not.
paint. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, no, good debate there. Last call for anything of the community event applications. Director.
Just, so, next steps with this? I'm not sure. So we, I think we'll need to take a staff report with what's been recommended. The budget hasn't been passed, so we were saying that there is a $20,000 savings that was identified in the budget, and we've just allocated 7 of that. And when I say we, I mean CDAC has allocated 7 of that 20,000 into the grant line. So that will need to be approved at council for us to be able to fund everything that's been on this list. So I will formulate a report and get that in front of council as an information and refer to budget report.
Councilor Falcon, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, anything we did here was just a suggestion.
Yeah.
And, we just tried to make the math work to find a way for the municipality to support community events, because we know without that support, it makes it more difficult. And I guess it'll be up to Donna and I to make the argument to council that these are worthwhile expenditures, and that the budget be increased because of the cost savings that would be incurred.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Final comments, last call. Okay, thank you. Good work, by the way. Let's go and inquiries or comments by members. We'll go around the shoe. We'll start with Brad.
Nothing tonight, Chris.
Councillor Pammer.
This is the last time this committee will be going through this, right? Because next year we'll have a new council
Yeah, it depends when they.
and a new committee.
Yeah, it depends when they strike the new committee.
Okay,
So
it stays in place?
it'll stay in place. Actually, no, we'll stop meeting during the election.
Right,
So yeah, you're correct.
yes, this last time.
Yeah, lame duck period, right?
Yeah, so my only comment, I guess, back to staff then, is that when CDAC is reformed, I would encourage you to bring the criteria forth again and decide whether or not we're gonna enforce it or not. Because I think that we've had enough of a transition time, and I think that at some point we're gonna need to, be clear about, either that committee can decide they don't wanna do that or change the criteria, but I think that's one of the first things we should do, and then stick to it. Because I think it will, I think it's important that we uphold those rules so that we have good transparency and good decision-making.
Thank you. Councillor Puckman.
I guess I'd just like to thank staff. I know we've got another event coming up with the night market. That's going to require a significant amount of work, and last year's turnout was incredible. So I hope it's the same, and thank the staff in advance for that, because that helps put everybody in the mood for Christmas. And we probably are not meeting in December, correct?
Pardon?
Will we be meeting in December? No. So
No.
I just wish to thank everybody in the committee for a year's worth of work, and hope you all have a safe and happy holidays.
Thank you. I was going to recommend a committee gathering at your place in December. That's off the table.
Pool party?
Kate.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention 2 upcoming important dates. Winter programs open on November 17th, which will be Monday. The calendar's been posted, so if you want to look through your schedule and see what fits. Those will open on Monday, November 17th. And then, like Councillor Pelkman said, our hometown Christmas market and the Lions lighting of the tree is on November the 28th. So we're doing similar to last year's market, but we also this year have an ice, like a maple taffy rolling thing. So we'll have some fun, like Canadian things happening.
Thank you. Thanks for all your input tonight too, Kate. Darren.
Thanks, Chris. Just wanted to mention again the open house for the South Grove Meadows Park tomorrow night at the Gemini Sportsplex at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Steve.
I think these decisions that we're making are really hard and difficult, because we all want to fund everything, that's for sure. We realize that everybody that applied to this stuff is valid in our community, and that we need it, and that we want it, and that we want to see it grow and flourish. And these decisions amongst us are hard to make, and I guess in these times we've got to make them because everybody's strapped for cash. So I'm glad we're making them, and I'm glad we've had good input and debate on it.
Well said. Jagger.
Nothing from me, thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
Nothing further, thanks.
Director.
I just want to put a shout out to a number of staff who received a very early morning text from me yesterday at 6 a.m. asking how we were going to get rid of the snow around the cenotaph. Okay, because we had a service happening in a few short hours, and it took 3 minutes, and I got my first response, and then 2 more responses happened about 4 minutes after that. So they're already up thinking about that. So I just want to give a shout out to that crew, as well as the roads department, who paid some extra special attention to the road in front of the cenotaph, as well as the sidewalk removing the berm and everything that would have been created. So it truly took a team effort yesterday, and I was very proud of the group that pulled together. So thank you.
I thought you were gonna take what I was gonna say. I'm gonna give another shout out to Katie. It's like I owe her money or something tonight. And I think, pretty sure Michelle Wright as well, in the museum, for the poppies that were draped, or still draped, over Town Hall, over the cenotaphs, Mount Bridges. They look fantastic. So all the volunteers that were involved in that project, well done. Looks absolutely beautiful. Just a couple of events I had as well. Tomorrow afternoon, our MP is going to be having a seniors town hall at the Lions Hall tomorrow afternoon. I think it's at 3 o'clock with MP Leanne Rood. Of course, the Lions Club Rico Foods Parade's on the 22nd. Route change. It's going to be starting at the corner of Frank and Caradoc. Is that right? Caradoc? Metcalf? What's that corner? Yeah, Metcalf and Frank heading towards Front, taking a right on Front, and finishing at the Catholic Church where it once started. So 1 p.m. on the 22nd. And I also want to wish everyone and their families a wonderful holiday season, since we're probably not meeting here or at Steve's in December. So schedule of meetings will be determined by myself, the chair, and the director. So I guess we'll look for an adjournment for the November 12th, 2025 Community Development Advisory Committee meeting adjournment at 7:52. Need a mover and a seconder. Brad and Jagger, all in favor? Carried. Thank you and good night.